What is going on? Welcome to Heaven on Earth. I'm Michael, the Leo Mystic. This is where I channel the sacred guidance for this astrological week of the 21st of June. Happy freaking summer solstice, baby. This is the highest position of the sun. This is the most light there is on a given day. We are arriving at the summer until the 27th of June. Ooh, okay, this is very interesting because we have the week with the most light, right? Which is everybody's happy, it's sunny, pretty much everywhere in the world. Everybody's like playing, going to the beach, and it's like, you know, feels kind of good. However, we start off this summer solstice, and it's actually a chart for, the whole summer. And pretty much until the sun falls in September. And that is with the moon in Scorpio. Ooh, and sun is in Cancer. So the host of Cancer is the moon, and the moon is in detriment in Scorpio. Now, that is not a good place for the moon to be. That is actually one of the worst positions for the moon to be. The moon is obviously our emotions, and I can tell you, like, these last couple of weeks, they were extremely mental. They were like figuring stuff out, going from here to there, processing information, fact-checking bullshit and all those things, and just learning a lot of information and a lot of background noise, right? So that was what was going on. And now we come in the emotion. So we come from the mind, from the head, we descend in, you can say, either the heart or the gut, because that's what Cancer is. That's where, I guess for many people, the emotions, and I think for everyone, right? Like there's an animalistic part of you, and then there's this spiritual part of you. And the animalistic part is the emotions are definitely at the gut. You feel. There's an anxiety. It's like an instinct in a way. But as we evolve and grow, we humans learn to process information, but emotions, energy, through the heart. And that's what we learn if we train the glandular system, if we train the neural system, right? Your neural network. And so that's what you do, obviously, with Kundalini Yoga, for example, is specifically targeting that system, that sensory system. And I can tell you, it's going to go completely, you'll feel the shift. And it's not just because the sun goes into Cancer. It is because the moon is in Scorpio, and it's not the only thing. The sun in Cancer trines Jupiter, which is in Pisces, retrograde, which means that Jupiter is the closest to the Earth that it can be at that exact moment, which is the magnifier, which is, Jupiter in Pisces is a lot of emotions, a lot of like blinded confusion, not sure, but also compassion and love, and depending on where you are on that spectrum. So it puts in a lot of what? A lot of emotions to be processed. And with that moon in Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio is extremely intense. With the moon in Scorpio, we are afraid of our emotions. We don't want to see the emotions unless, because that's what the moon is inviting us to do, to be able to explore courageously. There will be a lot of fears, there will be a lot of anxiety, and I can tell you, this is not the only thing this week. this week is so packed full of aspects, full of crazy shit. And at the same time, so much loving, healing, beautiful, powerful energy. So that moon is Scorpio. The host does not feel good. The host does not feel comfortable at all. So if you arrive in a house where the host does not feel comfortable, do you think you will feel comfortable? And that's kind of like what the sun in Cancer is like. And so there is this feeling of suspicion, this feeling of, holding back and analyzing and waiting and, just not being able to fully embrace the emotions. But the thing is, if you allow, and if you, Jupiter retrograde in Pisces, are able to trust the unknown, to surrender, and this is something you practice. You can do this practicing in meditation, but also just this is what entrepreneurship is all about. This is like putting yourself in situations where it's like, there's uncertainty, but to be able to learn to work with that uncertainty is key. And so honestly, this is going to be a very hard fucking time. But for those people who are able to work with uncertainty and are able to work with the unknown and are able to, just say, whatever the fuck happens, I don't care. It's going to be a little bit less intense because, they know how to work with it. So at the same time, right, there will be, it is as if, you just got to be able to observe nature in that sense where water has the power to cleanse. Water has the power to cut through anything. Like years and years, and I'm talking thousands of years, millions of years, where water just carves through stone. And that is, in a way, the patience and the knowing and the wisdom of water to be able to adapt. And there's a lot of healing energy coming your way. And it is as if, I feel, with the fact that the sun is in Cancer in the summer solstice point, and an exact trine with Jupiter on, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday exact. It's beautiful. And, this is a cleansing time. This is, in a way, like a forced cleansing, but pleasant. You just all of a sudden arriving at this beautiful waterfall spot, and there's a priest, and the priest is like, "You are blessed, my son," and says like, "Amen," and puts this prayer all over you, and all of a sudden you feel cleansed, and it's, you are at Lourdes or whatever. It's like, fuck, I didn't see that coming. But you gotta, I get that image too of there's this practice. I've never done it actually, but I think it's kind of the same way that we're going through right now. There's a practice where you are being put under, by this specialist, a therapist, whatever, and you are held underwater until you almost can't breathe anymore. And then a little bit more, because your brain is just like, what the fuck is this? I'm gonna die, whatever. And then just the person takes you out of the water, and you gasp, but it's like, and just and then when you gasp, the person puts you under again, and just goes again and again. I don't know what the name of this therapy is, but it is intense, and it sounds pretty fucking scary, but it heals so many people. If you know what this name of the therapy is, please put it in the link down below, in the comments, because I've heard about it reading the book Anatomy of a Calling by Lisa Rankin, which is a doctor, and she went through this therapy herself. And this is to really expand beyond the physical body and just trust in the unknown, and realize how fucking powerful your body is and how powerful your mind is. And a lot of emotions of anxiety and fear and let me say, fear, but also anger is put in the mix with Mars and Leo, and desire and lust, There's this grand cross between the moon and Scorpio, which is fucking intense and like the worst place for the moon to be, which is like you do not feel comfortable, and it is like push being out of your comfort zone. And square Mars in Leo, that's like being held back because you run away because you're scared. And then square Saturn in Aquarius, this is like peer pressure, like in these student clubs where they push this like a little bit too far, and you're like, you become fucking scared and like you want to run away. But if you do, then everybody laughs at you and you can never show your face again in university. And then there's an opposition with the moon to Uranus. Like that is the most unpredictable fear-causing energy there is. And then with the malefics, Mars and Saturn in the mix. This week is like hell. This week is literally fucking hell. And I think a lot of people are going to see big shit. And out there too. Like, I think it will be intense, and it's going to burst. And people are going to snap. And with the moon in Scorpio too, which it is the most important planet now, with the sun in Cancer. I know it's not a planet, but moon in Scorpio, and that's like the chart for the whole summer solstice, with making Pluto important, which is in Capricorn, and it is opposing Venus in Cancer, which is instinctive reaction to survive because you don't feel safe. So all themes like insecurity and not feeling safe and wanting to control falls from grace, feelings of guilt, and you acting out of guilt because of the standards of conduct, because Father State wants you to do it this way. This is so intense. And at the same time, because of, that's the interesting part that I was talking about. We're going to be pushed out of our, like, not even comfort zone. We are way beyond our comfort zone. And then even then we're going to be like put underwater, and you're going to feel as if you're dying, and it's like gasping for air. But in that gasping for air and doing that again and again and being put underwater and being held underwater, someone keeping you there, like just until the limits, there's a lot of people who are going to be confronted with the limits and that are going to be pushed way beyond them. And this is where growth happens. And this is where the gift and the blessing of Jupiter trining the sun the whole week. And even, for a moment, Venus in Cancer, trining Neptune, trining the moon in Scorpio. This is more healing. This is compassion. This is love. There is angelic, loving energy that is watching over you. And it is that man or woman, that therapist, that knows exactly what it is doing. But you're freaking out. A lot of people are going to be freaking out, and there's going to be a lot of fall from grace this week. There's a lot of dark shit going to come out this exact week. And it is about the old versus the new. Saturn square Uranus. And with Mercury square Pluto, with Mercury still retrograde, we have to, transform our mind. We have to let go, and we have to be confronted even more with things beyond our control. And it is about, a lot of people clinging on. What are you clinging on to? Where your image, your self-image is being threatened, where your pains of the past are holding you back and drawing you down. Where are you frustrated? Where are you angry? Like all these things, these emotions are rising to the surface. And that's what the sun in Cancer is all about. And at the same time, we got the sun at its highest point, the most light. And that's beautiful. So the ultimate dark versus the light is there this week. And it brings so much healing. But that moon in Scorpio invites you to be courageous and to really seek the trust, the honesty, the loyalty. Those people win. Those people who trust, those people who are courageous, those people who are like, let's do some deep soul work this week. That's what this is all about. And it's a grand cross in a fixed sign. So there are like, there's something that you are maintaining. There's something that is being maintained, that is fixed, and that you are unable to let go of. And that is going to be washed all away if you allow it. If you allow it. You know? So that's the beauty, and at the same time, the very, 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 very intense energy of this week. So, you know, we have Venus in Cancer squaring the nodes. This is more even saying that Venus in Cancer is loud. And Venus makes some difficult aspects this week as well, with the moon, with Mercury, semi-squares, opposing Pluto. This is everything, topics of relationships, money, desire, lust, manipulation, because you're feeling threatened, because you're going to freak the fuck out, because you're going to be pushed out of your limits, out of your comfort zone way too far. But the thing is, stay calm. Stay cool under pressure is really the mantra for this week. Stay cool under pressure. And trust, you know, that this is like a purge this week. This week is a purge. All right? And I haven't even talked about the full moon in Capricorn. This full moon in Capricorn, which happens on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. It's on Thursday, yes. And this full moon in Capricorn is obviously its manifestation of business, of you know, power, of authority. And yes, you know, at a very basic level, you know, the business life, the work life, the plans, the structures, everything is like falling into place, and we can be like at our most mature if we allow. But this is like Capricorn with the moon there, with the sun, you know, in Cancer. That moon in Capricorn is in its detriment, and it just came from its fall. So there's something going on with the emotional life. There's something going on with the emotional security. There's something going on with the home and the family that is rising to the surface. The past, our self-image, our conditioning, our gut instinct, our instincts, the human instincts that are taking over, and where you're like, fuck, things are beyond my control. And then with that full moon in Capricorn, the moon is in detriment. This is feelings of control, feelings of guilt, feeling like, oh no, I need to be in control. I need to be on top of this. It's like hard work. And then that's what needs to be let go of. And isn't that interesting that this whole thing of the Uranus square Saturn square Mars square, you know, everything this week, you know, is really bringing in a lot of nasty energy in the mix. But the sun in Cancer is actually saying, can you start nurturing yourself? Can you actually trust? Can you allow? Can you nurture the home? Can you build a family? Can you build your foundation in life? And even if everything else falls away, I will be fine. All right? So that's what I'm going to leave you with. And it's a good, question we can ask ourselves. Like, what is the foundation of my life? How can I trust myself better? How can I nurture myself better? And that nurturing happens anyway. Where is it all around me? Because Source is showing that to me. It is telling me in every single message around me, right? So here's to that. And here's to the intensity of relationships. Here's to your dark stuff coming up and you just staying cool under pressure and knowing, and it needs to rise to the surface, so that it can be washed away, and allow it to be washed away by looking upon the gifts that are bestowed upon you. Amen. Much love, the Leo Mystic. See you next week.